Well, Jerry Katz, one of the premier acting teachers from the New York area, now living in New Orleans. He's probably the greatest acting teacher working in the New Orleans area right now. His students book films. We've got our second edition of our interview with Jerry Katz, part 2, coming up next here on Nightique.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Well, on this edition of Nightique, we have the return of Jerry Katz, our acting coach in New Orleans and via Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And you teach the Ivana Chubbuck method of acting.
Technique, yes.
Technique. And you've got students from around the Gulf Coast. And let's take a look at the website. If anybody out there is interested in acting with the film industry coming to Mississippi, and in fact, right next door in New Orleans, it's blowing up over there in Louisiana. Acting for the first time here in the Deep South is a career path that people can look at seriously and say, I don't necessarily have to go to LA or New York. I can be a serious actor here in the South where we already are, right?
Almost definitely. You think about it. Now, when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn in 1972, did I just date myself? I probably did. But there was like, how many channels was there? There was Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9,
Channel 11.
Channel 13, Channel 11.
Right.
Okay, 8, 9 channels. There are thousands today. Thousands.
Not to mention internet channels.
And that is the whole new world too.
That's a whole new world.
You know, for instance, Robert Rodriguez, who did Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
He and Spike Lee, by the way, as well. They own their own web channels, where they can actually do their own programming of everything that they want to put up there, and they have access to everything on Netflix, all of that, but they can promote their own stuff.
Right.
Now the bottom line is they're paying all good money for actors, and they need good actors. So if you think about it, the opportunities that are befalling us today, as opposed to 1972, is immense, immense.
Now, when a person comes to you to take acting lessons in New Orleans, what is it that you look for in a person to be able to tell if they've got potential as an actor? I mean, and what makes a good actor?
Well, I try not to make full judgments on you know, that type of distinction, because I believe that anybody can learn how to do anything. I believe that it's a question of more of a commitment, a dedication, a determination, a discipline. And that's what I try to instill on everybody who walks through my door. Because the truth of the matter is, my journey as an actor has been 40 years. And I'm going to tell you something. If I live another 40 years, I want to talk to the doctor that had me go. Because the truth of the matter is, you're going to find another teacher eventually, and that's just the progression of the way things go. You run after your dream. Now, everybody has a different temperature, let's call it. You know, everybody comes in at a different level. Some people, you know, they're very green. Some people have natural talent. I never had natural talent. I mean, I was always very, very driven and always very passionate, but I really didn't know how to act when I first acted. I had to go through psychotherapy. I went to try to really understand who Jerry was, you know, and I try to facilitate that in my classes. Who are you?
When a person comes to your class, a very handsome man or a very beautiful woman, is that a is that a hindrance to them as being taken seriously as an actor, or is that an asset?
It could be taken either way. I mean, remember, back in the 40s, back in the 30s, 40s, I mean, it was all about the lead actors and lead actresses were all about being beautiful and being handsome. Tyrone Power, one of the most handsome men ever living. You know, Loretta Young and Ava Gardner, and the list goes on and on and on and on. As time has gone on, though, and there's been more of an access of film, especially during the 70s when the anti-hero came about, Al Pacino, Jack Nicholson, who weren't the classic Clark Gable-esque type of looking guy, but they became a powerful culture in itself. So right now, that type of beauty, again, it could help and it could also hinder you, because the truth of the matter is, if you go to California, like in my class alone, there was 500 students in my class. And usually in California, think about it, most of the actors coming in come from all over the country. You know, they're the high school beauty queens and they're the high school quarterbacks, and they're coming in from all over the country. So you have in California a great majority of people who are beautiful. Think about the competition. And you go to TV right now and you look at everybody who's on sitcoms, and it varies. I look at, I mean, for me personally, I kind of look at that type of beauty to be a hindrance, unless you know how to act. Look, Ivana would say this all the time, and I agree. There is no substitute for talent and no substitute for ability. You know, if you know how to act, you're going to be wanted. Because that's what we're doing. Beauty, yeah, but I mean, so you'll do one job and now it's done?
You know, thinking back to The Godfather and Pacino taking that role, he was not the stereotypical leading man, but he carried it, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And that was a very ethnic character. You know, he looked Italian. He didn't look like Tab Hunter, you know. But
definitely
today, that kind of brings to mind, look at what's happening in television with shows like Blackish and other African American shows. Do you see the rise in the popularity of ethnic shows that's happening before us in network television? Oh my God. It's exploding.
It's exploding. I mean, you go to Atlanta, Georgia, and, you know, I mean, Tyler Perry, for God's sakes. You know,
he's a studio unto himself.
Exactly. And, you know, I starred in a movie back in 97 called Baller Block, and with Cash Money Millionaires and Juvenile and the Hot Boys and Lil Wayne. I knew Lil Wayne when he was really little Wayne. But the bottom line was, that exploded me. I mean, to this day, it's 17 years later, to this day, I can stop at a gas station and people will call me by my character's name. I'm the most infamous white man in New Orleans, you know, and it's a great feeling, you know. It's a wonderful feeling to 17 years later to be still recognized. Except for my name in the film was Curly Head, and I went into this restaurant in the French Quarter. It's the funniest story. And I walk in, and as I walk in, this little black guy is like you know, standing in front of the door, and he's like the bouncer. And he looks at me and goes, "Curly Head," and I went, "Yeah, that's me." He goes, "Curly Head, how'd you get so fat?" So I didn't know I was fat. But he recognized me after 17 years. So the bottom line is, yeah, the ethnic world is exploding. I can't tell you. I have done things. I worked with Lil Wayne's ex-wife on a BET station. She had a reality show, and I had her in my class. She was doing exercises in my class, and they were very powerful. She moved so many of us, and the bottom line was, that's the way the world is. The world is diversified. The world is asking for everything. You know, one of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington and Halle. I mean, these are great actors and actresses, and they're ethnic. You know, and you know, I mean, I'm a Jew boy from Brooklyn, and I get a lot of parts, Jewish parts, but they're parts. Now the bottom line is, we're all looking for that type of realness, that type of humanity, that type of America, that type of the world. India right now is the #1 nation in the world for film production, Bollywood. I mean, think about it.
1 billion people.
Think about it.
It's a big market.
The world is huge. In fact, I'm going to be doing seminars, and there's seminars going on in Badai and Saudi Arabia. American filmmakers and American teachers and American writers are all being sought after around the world because everybody loves this medium. And why not?
That's one successful export that America has developed is the film culture, the film world, you know, isn't it the truth?
Oh, my God. I've always looked at the film world as America's royalty. In fact, someone once said to me, asked me, you know, what do you think the most dynamic part of America is? And I said, you know something, you know, you think about Bill Clinton, President Clinton. He epitomized America so well because America, and I think this is our time, this is the time of who we are, we're the land of charismatics. We have charisma. And it's because of the film world. So why not feel comfortable in that world and take it and win with it? It affords you the opportunities and it affords you the possibility of making a lot of money. And there's reasons for that.
Okay, we're going to be right back. This is Jerry Katz. Let's take a look at the website. If you're interested in learning more about the acting classes that Jerry Katz puts on in New Orleans, he's got folks coming there to New Orleans to take the classes from around the Gulf Coast and around the immediate South. It's katzactingjoint.com, and we'll be right back with Jerry Katz after this.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
We're here with Jerry Katz. Let's take a look at the website. It's katzactingjoint.com. So you have been for about a decade teaching in New Orleans, and so you began your acting coaching in New Orleans right at the time when it started to blow up with so many films starting to come, and so you've been there during this heyday.
Well, when did Katrina happen? 2004?
I believe so.
Yeah, so right after Katrina,
Right.
I came in. Yeah, and it started to explode just before Katrina, by the way, because Louisiana was the first state in the United States to bring in a tax incentive.
They were like at the very front end of that, right? And it was so successful because a producer, let's say if it's a 25% tax credit, which they could sell the tax credit. So if I'm a producer and I come in, on the money I spend in New Orleans, let's say I've got $1 million production, well, 25%, I get $250,000 back as a producer from A tax incentive. Now, what if it's a $50 million film? Boom. Think about that.
Exactly.
So-
Well, and it's more than 25%. It's 30%.
Is it 30%?
Now, not only that, but do you realize, and this is the thing that I try to teach my students. It's why I'm so involved with bringing up our talent, because for many years they would still bring in, and they still do on certain levels, like, you know, Bruce Willis is coming into town and Al Pacino's coming into town to all shoot movies, and they're coming in from Los Angeles. But did you realize that if you hire all the film crew as well as all of the talent from Louisiana, where they don't, and it could be Alabama, it could be Mississippi, as long as we're not paying per diem and all of that stuff that they actually have to pay Los Angeles. If you do that, and I guess you would need a Louisiana address, but if you do that, it's no longer 30%, it's 35%. And you're right. So out of $1 million, you're getting back what?
350,000. So, I mean, it's a great incentive.
And that's why they're coming.
That's the difference. That's why, as a producer who's making the decisions, if he's got X, Y, and Z to choose from, 35%. You know, and plus you got a lot of great places to shoot in Louisiana, just like Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi has some wonderful locations.
It really does.
I mean,
everything.
Oh my
you
God.
know, water in the coast. You've got beaches. You know.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
you've got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and it's starting to happen in Mississippi now, like it has already happened in Louisiana.
Oh yeah. People don't even realize, they're starting to. In fact, Los Angeles as well, because they're starting to move out here. People don't realize the explosion that's happening in the South. Louisiana is called Hollywood South.
Hollywood South. When you're teaching in your classes, I know this is going to be difficult, but if you would kind of define for us, you know, one of the elements that you try to instill in a student as far as their approach to a role and how they study for, how they get into the role. And if somebody's watching out there right now and they're trying to pick up some hints, give us a hint.
The bottom line is, you got to make your work seem real. It has to be organic. But it also has to have movement. It also, you're moving toward a goal, okay, as we do in real life. But it has to seem real. And usually what happens is, most drama and comedy is extraordinary situations. We don't go to a movie to watch everyday happenings. And I don't know, if I do, I'm out of the movie theater in 10 minutes. You know, but movies aren't written that way, and most literature is not written that way. Now, if the characters and if the piece is higher in an extraordinary situation and higher stakes, why not you as an actor recognize your own intricate, organic, high stakes in life and stop running from it? Because not only are you actually helping your character and mirroring this extraordinary world, you're actually facing things, and this is what I've learned, you're actually facing things that you might have been running away from your whole life. You might be running away from things, you might be facing things now that is stopping you from being successful because you've been hiding and running away from personal pain. Now, any good actor knows, any good dramatist knows, that the secret of great acting is an actor understanding and communicating his personal pain. Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, when he's standing in front of that grave talking to that girl that he's loved his whole life, and he starts crying, if he has one wrong note, we're going to know it. And I'll be honest with you, you know, the great thing about movie acting is, and I'm not saying for people to take this as an excuse or take this as a back door or a way out. If I'm a director, and if I don't get that right moment, I'm going to shoot you until I get it. But as Ivana would say, don't wait for them. Don't you wait for them. You give them something where they're sitting there going, oh my God, that was amazing. And really, you look at the great actors. You look at Daniel Day-Lewis. You look at, what's her name, from Black 030. I love her. Chastain? I can't remember.
Chastain.
Chastain. My God, the pain, but not playing as a victim, but the pain that's inherent in the human condition that comes out in a real natural way, it touches us all.
Not playing it as a victim, playing it as a winner.
As a winner. It doesn't take away from the fact that pain happens. Pain happens to winners too.
And they may lose anyway.
And they may lose anyway. But the bottom line is, you don't play into the victimization of it. You know, we might look at a victim once and go, isn't that person so sensitive? By the third time that person's doing that, we're going, get this person out of my face. I don't even want to deal with this person. Because everybody likes a winner. Everybody. Our whole sports world is built on that. Our presidencies are built on that. Your marriages are built on that. You're not going into a marriage to lose. Now, you might lose, but you're not going in to lose. So why not, as an actor, have that as a focus? That's what I do. I focus that on the people. On top of that, which is a very hard thing to do, and it takes a lot of work, and all of them, everything I'm talking about takes a lot of work, don't get me wrong. Acting is not an easy thing to do. You have to commit and be disciplined and determined to get it going. But how do you get a feeling? How do you get a real organic feeling? Well, I'll tell you right now, I could put you through an exercise right now where I'll have you crying in 3 minutes. Because I know how to do that. And now, I'm not saying, first of all, if you need to do that on a set, I would call someone like me, or Ivana goes on sets all the times. And there's teachers that do go on sets for this particular reason. Because you need an emotion. They're going to shoot you. Well, guess what? If they're going to shoot you, and that's going to be your card, your business card, that's that person up on that screen, wouldn't you want to be the most real you could be? It's going to stay with you a lifetime. The director who's watching you is going to either call you back because of how good you were, or is never going to call you at all. It's the way the world goes. So why wouldn't you be prepared enough to be the best you can be? Because I'm going to tell you something, and it takes a while. Doctors, like, you think they just walked out of the cradle knowing how to be a doctor? Lawyers? I have one student in my class. He's built like Adonis. I mean, I've never seen a person like this. And again, I love that poster, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I love Muhammad Ali, my favorite boxer. But this man is built like Adonis. And I asked him, and I said this in class, I said, can I ask you something? I'm not going to say his name. How often do you work out? Because I work out 6 days a week. I said, how old are you? He goes, I'm 35. But how long have you been working out 6 days a week? He goes, since I was 11. I said, so, if he's working out since he's 11 every day for 20 some odd years, and he's got a body like that, what makes you think that you can get it just like that? Now, there are some people who can do that. God gifted them. I find Meryl Streep to be gifted that way. But even she studied enormously. Everybody studies. It's the same thing about working out, building muscles. It's just different muscles. You have to do it. Now, the bottom line is this. If you want to get by and you think you can do it just by walking onto a set or walking into a casting office, well, you know what? Good luck. But I'm telling you right now, it takes a lot. Because it took me a lot. And my father was the 8th light heavyweight of the world. And when my father had to get ready for a fight, he would tell me these stories. He would do road work for 8 hours a day. Then he would go to the gym and he'd do bag work for an hour. Then he would jump rope for an hour. He's working 10, 12 hours a day to get ready for a fight. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you ever stood in a ring for one round, that's 3 minutes. How do these men stay there in one sitting 15 rounds, 45 minutes, no rest, really? I mean, yeah, you sit down for a minute or so. Preparation. They're prepared.
Let alone becoming the champion of the world. Think about that.
Well, and again, for me, it's about how willing are you to commit and strive for it. I believe anybody can be successful in anything you attempt, but you have to put time and effort into it.
Now, the website is katzactingjoint.com, and people can reach you through there and find out about your acting classes in New Orleans, correct?
Most definitely.
It's been a pleasure having you here, Jerry.
Been a pleasure being here.
We've got a couple of shows here, and we are happy to have you on as our guest. And good luck with everything in New Orleans.
Thank you very much.
Both in your own acting career and in your teaching career.
Thank you. And I'll be more than happy again to come to the film festival. I love you. I love your Mississippi Film Festival.
Mississippi International Film Festival, and you've come a number of years now,
Yeah.
and had seminars, right?
I love it, and it's a great time, and you're a great host.
And thank you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us tonight on this edition of Nightique. See you next time.